Hey everybody, my name is Shane. I'm here with my good friend Daniel. Say hi, Daniel.
Hey, hi Daniel.
This is our maiden voyage, our initial podcast. We want to start a podcast here to help out both men and women in dating, relationships.
And we've recently been discussing like the multiple topics we could cover, and we've decided we could start with the problem that a lot of men have being needy.
Also wanted to get into some of our backgrounds a little bit, just to tell you a little bit about us and, kind of just let you in a little bit, the listeners out there. So, again, my name is Shane. In my late 30s. Didn't date a lot. Didn't date at all in high school. Was actually kind of socially awkward in high school. Looking back at it now. Went to college. Was scared as hell, but just kind of pushed through the initial year or so. Ended up finding a really good roommate, and he opened up a lot of doors for me because I met tons of other people through him and joining some organizations and stuff. And it just changed my life. And I've actually told him many times since, even to this day, I tell him sometimes, like, thank you for
Hmm.
what you did for me, like indirectly. And just really got a lot over my social anxiety and talking to people and talking to girls and all that stuff. Got my first girlfriend, had some other experiences with women in college.
Hmm.
And and then after college, things slowed down a little bit, but still dated, still did some social things and stuff. But then even like in my late 20s, early 30s, started dating again, or dating had a lot more success and just had more substantial relationships, but also
Hmm.
started doing things like meetup groups, meeting new people, making friends, getting out there, trying new things. And so now, basically 10 years after my late 20s, I've come leaps and bounds. And I just want to just share some of those experiences with the listeners out there, the viewers out there. And
Hmm.
I bet a lot of people can relate, especially now after COVID and pandemic.
Hmm.
Socializing is tougher these days, it seems like, and with social media and our smartphones, it can make it more scary. But I want to let people know that you can do it, and you're not going to grow unless you get outside your comfort zone.
I'm a late bloomer myself. As a young kid, I was very insecure, had a lot of anxiety, just a very difficult childhood. And so I think having these type of difficulties early in your life perhaps feel horrible at the time, but I think these are the very things that help me want to improve. Because if you didn't have all these insecurities, then there wouldn't be anything to work on, right? I'm 37 years old, and my entire life, has been about overcoming these challenges. So where in the past I would look at them as obstacles, I start seeing them as stepping stones to becoming a
Mm.
better person. And so just like Shane said, it's a process, right? And if you're not where you want to be right now, that's okay because it's a journey, right? And we all need to embrace this journey and keep on growing.
I heard a saying a long time ago in college that we're like a piece of art. We're never truly done. You keep adding to it, touching it up, working on it. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. As men, we want to feel valuable. We want to feel confident.
beautiful. Yes.
And and having these insecurities, um, in a way, if you know how to, if you have the right perspective, then you can use them as your um motivators, right? You can use them as motivators for you to grow your confidence and keep improving. And by doing that, you start becoming more attractive. Because at the end of the day, if we're talking about insecurities here, these insecurities come from thinking that you're not enough.
You got to have validation from within. You got to really feel good about yourself. And I know that might seem cliche and woo woo, and I don't mean it to be like that, but it is true.
Hmm.
I mean, think about it. If you're not happy with yourself, that's why people seek out things like a relationship or validation from people or porn or alcohol or video games or whatever it could be because they're not happy with themselves.
Yeah, finding things that make you feel happy is a good start. Recognizing the things that you are passionate about, that you're naturally good at, right? Everybody's good at something. So don't try to um, like look at other people and be like them, because they are doing,
Mm.
their own thing, and that's fine. But you should be trying to identify the things that you are good at, right? So the work starts with yourself.
You're probably not going to
Hmm.
be the best unless you're a prodigy or something, but once you
Hmm.
start doing it more, you'll get more confident with it. And that'll just happen naturally. And then eventually you won't even think about being incompetent at something because you'll be so good at it. Whether it's dance lessons,
Hmm.
uh, playing an instrument, doesn't it can be anything really. So practice being alone or be okay with being alone. And what I mean by that is just being by yourself on a Friday night or Saturday night, or not going out and partying, not going on 6,000 dates, um, just okay being by yourself and being your own good company.
And it's having the right mindset too, because I think like Shane and I, for instance, we're talking about these things, but it's taking us some time to come to these conclusions, and it hasn't been easy. The journey hasn't been easy, and the journey is still ongoing. And another thing before I forget that Shane just reminded me is this beautiful quote by Lao Tzu, Chinese philosopher, and it's something like mastering others is a strength, but mastering yourself is true power.
Oh, wow.
So
True.
yeah, so it's all about starting with yourself and taking the time to study yourself, right?
Yeah.
To put the magnifying glass on yourself and start really realizing the things that you can offer to the world
Yeah.
and the skills that you can develop.
Daniel and I have known each other for a few years, years now, and this is us not just preaching for the mountaintops. Both of us are on our
Hmm.
own journeys. We're both working on ourselves. Um, Daniel has his business and other videos and whatnot. I run a men's group. We're both reading self-development books or doing coach. We've done coaching in the past. So him and I are definitely working on ourselves, and it's a constant piece. It's a constant work. And another thing I wanted to mention was you're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have days where you're not motivated. You're gonna have falls. Go
Hmm.
fall on your knees and stuff. So those are natural. Those are normal.
It's about having these constant reminders why you need to continue going. I've stopped seeking, right? And I've um refocused all my energy to being okay with who I am and improving on it, so that eventually I know that everything that I want will just align with what I know I deserve. And if I continue um, going on this journey, this is just a matter of time. So I don't really have to be seeking out anymore.
Mm. Yeah, the stuff we were talking about tonight, just in my men's group, in fact, was basically having no expectations. Um, and it's kind of it's a touchy topic because you can say, well, okay, you got to have goals, right? Yeah, got to have
Hmm.
goals, but just don't. You got to have reasonable goals, and you got to be able to forgive yourself. But if you go on a job interview and you don't get the job, again, you're not gonna. The world's not gonna end. If you're going on dates and you're having not much luck, the moment you put those that expectations on yourself, that's when you don't act like your authentic self, and that's usually what might be causing some of those issues of what you're having. The moment you just let go and be your true self,
Hmm.
people want people want authentic people in their lives.
Sometimes the hardest thing for us to do, to
Yeah.
be vulnerable enough to say who we really are, and um, yeah, like disclose all these maybe secrets that we have, uh, that at the end of the day shouldn't be, because I feel like everybody has them, right?
Sure.
Um, but the more we can share them, the more we can use them as examples for others, the more people can relate to who we are, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings and we all have the same struggles. It's just that some are, open to disclose them, and some other people aren't. In a way, the reason why we're creating these podcasts is because we're ready to be vulnerable, and to um hopefully, through our conversations, we can inspire other people to do the same. So yeah, it's not an easy path, but I think it's necessary if you really want to um you know achieve your full potential.
The purpose of this whole thing, like kind of bring it full circle here, is there is a way. Both of us have worked on ourselves for years now and come a long way, each of our own journeys, and now supporting each other as well. But now, hopefully, supporting other people. Even if we help one or two people,
That's
that's
enough.
that's great. That's worth it.
Yes, yes,
And we got to
yes.
start somewhere. And
Yeah.
so, we wanna try to delineate what we've learned in our own journeys to you out there, the viewers and the listeners.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
it's easy and it's might not be fun, but it can be done.
It can be done if we're willing to put in the work and the time and the effort. And like in retrospect, I could never see myself being in front of a camera, like recording my voice and
Yes.
and 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 talking about my insecurities. That was definitely out of the question for me. But
Yeah.
here I am, being um vulnerable, and just doing it because I know this is gonna help some people
Yes.
to, and hopefully inspire them to do the same for themselves in their
Yes.
lives. And the more you share, the more people are going to benefit, and that's just, that's the point. Just the more you give, the more you will receive, and the more
Mhm.
abundance will come into your life. I think that ultimately, um, like knowing all these things, or really mastering all these things we're talking about here, will help you get to a place where you have the choice to decide what it is
Yes.
that you want.
Yes.
And you can, if you feel that your life is complete being by yourself, then that's fine. But if you also need somebody, to be your partner in crime, if you will, then that's fine as well. So the choice is yours, and that's what mastering yourself and being less needy, helps you with having the choices to decide what it is that you want.
Yeah. And if you're gonna want to have a good, healthy relationship, you have to bring your best self to that center circle, the relationship, and then so
Hmm.
do they. They both have to work
Hmm.
on themselves. They come together, um,
Hmm.
because uh, the person should be they should be icing on a cake or cherry on the top of the sundae. They should be adding to your life, making it better, multiplying it. They're not going to fill a hole. They're just going to put icing on that cake. That's what it should be.
I apologize to the listeners if we've been all over the place today, but we're trying to just share with you our stories, and
Yes.
and and just be vulnerable, and hopefully, like I said, some of these ideas help you find your own way, and encourage you to take this path that is not always easy.
Yes.
Self development, self improvement takes time, so you gotta be patient with yourself, and you gotta be courageous, you know, you gotta be courageous. Uh, but yeah, I think that that's about it, Shane. What about you? Any final words?
I just want to encourage people and reiterate that it's a journey. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have a step back here and there, but just know that if there's a will, there's a way. So
Yeah, and if you just become the best version of you there is. You know, it works for either a man or a woman, right? The more you work on yourself, the more you attract the things that belong in your life. So so be a creator, create the abundance that is out there, right? I think most of the times we don't see how much possibility exists around us, but it's there if we are willing to see it and if we change our mindset about it. So in order not to be needy, you need to be able to create this abundance for yourself. And you know the paradox is that the abundance is right there, like right in front of you. So be open to see it and be open to go for it.
wow, that's a great way to end it right there, I think.
Awesome, Shane.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it, guys. Hopefully you you know took some wisdom out of this, and we'll see you next episode. See you
Make it
around.
happen. Cool. Bye bye.
Bye bye.